Wale ambao walikufa pesa iwekwe hapo ndani. Watu wapate compensation. Ile 10-point agenda iko na mambo ya kazi kwa vijana. Vijana wanakaa bila kazi.
The Orange Democratic Movement is facing one of its most visible internal fractures in years, and the cracks are showing right in its traditional stronghold. Nyanza, long considered ODM's untouchable political base, is now the stage for a dramatic power struggle that is splitting the party's grassroots base down the middle.
Uriembo Sifune party. Sifuno koriembe party. En senator mar party. Gimane wawacho. Nika inja watch a low party.
On Tuesday, February 17, 2026, Homa Bay Governor and ODM National Chairperson Gladys Wanga arrived in Ahero Town, Kisumu County, for what was planned for as a straightforward political mobilization meeting. She had gathered grassroots officials from Nyando constituency to build support for emerging cooperation between ODM and President William Ruto's government.
Jakom no we broad-based. To wangado ni yiero biro higa manyien. To wawacho ni sama yiero bire ni waikre. Waikre by me party leader wa Dr. Oburu Odinga teko.
The meeting, however, didn't go as a plan. Moments into our address along the streets of Ahero, the mood shifted. What began as murmurs in the crowd quickly turned into loud, organized chants. Residents interrupted our speech repeatedly, calling out the names of two figures who now symbolize resistance within ODM: sacked General Edwin Sifuna and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino.
Broad-based government William Samuel Ruto, Oburu Odinga.
The disruption grew louder as Wanga pushed back against alternative opposition path, arguing that the current political landscape requires unity and realism. The crowd responded by droning out her words with chants. Wanga told those gathered that only the late Raila Odinga had previously mounted a serious challenge against President Ruto, making the case that the party must align with the existing political order rather than fragment into small opposition camps. She questioned whether residents preferred a return to street protest. The crowd, rather than being persuaded, intensified their chants. In response, local ODM official Seth Ochele Nganga, also known as Adu Young, attempted to calm the gathering. He framed the national political contest as a battle between two clear camps, one led by President William Ruto alongside SIAYA Senator Oburu Odinga, and another is the opposition.
Decision explains the silence in Migori more than any speech. People were not cheering because they were thinking. Political confusion rarely produces noise. It produces stillness. A base unsure of direction watches carefully before choosing sides. The once automatic loyalty to Orange Democratic Movement now behaves like a court case awaiting evidence. The attack on Nairobi and SIAYA leaders sharpened the divide. Nairobi and SIAYA became symbols of two futures. One future favors negotiation and access to national power. The other favors opposition and ideological purity. Both paths promise survival, but through different risks. One risks losing identity, the other risks losing influence.
Into an impromptu show of grassroots support for the Sifuna faction. The contrast between how Sifuna was received in Ugunja and how Wanga was received in Ahero became an immediate talking point in Kenya's political circle.
lazima hii maneno ya 10-point agenda ya compensation of victims of post-election violence lazima sisi kama ODM tushikilie.
What makes the moment volatile is timing. Supporters have not forgotten years of political rivalry. Reconciliation from the top moves faster than emotional reconciliation on the ground. Leaders may shake hands in boardroom while followers still remember campaign battle lines. That gap creates suspicion, and suspicion breeds rebellion.
Adwa wacho ne jotelo madwaro piny ng'ato ka ng'ato ground nikech mae momiyo wacho ni linda ground koro ng'ato ka ng'ato kanye ground.
Ayako's absence therefore becomes more than local caution. It reads like a silent referendum. If governors start measuring crowd moods before attending rallies, the leadership's authority has already weakened. Power in politics flows from perception. The perception now is that control is negotiable.
Tuko tayari. Anejo chama mar ODM manka.
Gladys Wanga faces a brutal reality. Consolidation requires convincing both negotiators and resistors that they are winning. At the moment, neither side feels victorious. Negotiators fear backlash while hardliners fear betrayal. The middle ground where parties usually breathe is shrinking. What comes next depends on who captures the narrative first. If cooperation is framed as access to resources and stability, the base may slowly accept it. If framed as abandonment of struggle, rebellion will grow louder. The party stands at a psychological crossroads, not just a political one.
ODM! Tuko tayari!
Migori did not explode. That was the real headline. Silence replaced chants, calculations replaced excitement, and absence replaced unity. In politics, crowds shouting at you is danger. Crowds quietly studying you is something far more serious.
Adieri mar wach en ni jakom ne Sifuna miyo luor. Sifuna nomiyo jakom gik moko ariyo. Respect gi fear. Respect gango gi fear. Oburu to komiyo respect to fear be okotimore nade okomiyo. Ocha Oburu. To lweny maduong' migoyo en ni jaluo owuok kama wantiere ni wadoge opposition. Mane lweny maduong' magore sani. Wan kanyo cha wadhie bura. Ne wang'ado niya. Mae kaka bura nong'ado. Nwang'ado ni wan kaka chama jakom no wewa broad based. To wang'ado ni yiero biro higa manyien. To wawacho ni sama yiero bire ni waikre. Waikre by miyo party leader wa Dr. Oburu Odinga teko. Mondo dhi ochak go mbaka gi chama manigi paro machalre gi marwa. Kochako gi UDA mar President William Ruto ma wan go e broad based government. Manu yiego koso kuyiego. Uyiego koso kuyiego. To nwawacho ni kidhigo mbaka. One kaka ODM, because we are the largest party south of Sahara and north of River Limpopo. Ko wuok Vanga Kwale, nyaka todo Nyang Turkana. Ko wuok Tana River, nyaka nyatike wuotho rumo. Wadwaro gini no bed 50-50.